Check out your free new helicopter in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. It's the Eurocopter EC135, and it's the last of 4 Make Good releases from the MSFS team in recognition of the rough simulator launch customers experienced in November 2024. And of those 4 Make Goods, it's the only helicopter. At last! It promises light twin-engine performance with versatility and search and rescue, ambulance and sightseeing flights. Sounds fun, right? But it's fair to say this release has not been met with universal acclaim. Some people on forums suggesting even free is too much to ask for this release in its current state, and if this is a make-good airplane, some say they demand a make-good airplane. Anyway, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to investigate the visuals, the sounds, the systems, and I'm going to show you some weird stuff around how it currently handles in flight. Still, do we have a solid platform here for further development? Let's fly. And here is our brand new free helicopter. Who doesn't like a free helicopter? Come on. Well, it's this Eurocopter EC135 T1. What does the T1 mean? It means that it's equipped with turbo mecha engines as opposed to Pratt & Whitney, in which case it would be a P1. The one, I suppose, indicates that it dates from the 1990s. I think the T1 flew maybe in the mid-90s, maybe about 1996. So we're looking at an earlier generation of avionics than what we would expect with the more modern variant that we're up to now with this helicopter, the H135, now branded by Airbus helicopters. So here is where we're at with our EC135 T1. It has been packaged in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 with these 4 variants. I've chosen sightseeing. There's also a passenger variant, and I think what people are going to be interested in from an activities point of view in MSFS 2024, a search and rescue variant and an ambulance variant. Excellent. Lots of mission potential there, if it were not for some other problems which I'll get to. So liveries, yes, here's the ambulance livery that it launched with at Gamescom in Germany. Excellent. Love to see a bit of reference to real-world partners there. I think that looks just great as well in those yellow and black real-world liveries. Love a bit of high-tech 90s futurism there. I'm a bit of a sucker for black and yellow, or here's a police one. I like this. What colour is that? Orange, gold? Yes. Anyway, I'm going for that one. So let's get on board. Well, I've brought it along to Essendon, home territory, and hello to our friends at Melbourne Heli. So here is our EC135 parked up at Melbourne Heli, and what does it look like? Pretty good. Pretty good. I've heard a few complaints about the shape of it. I think it seems okay to me. I've found a couple of photos that might seem to indicate a slightly different skids configuration where the whole machine sits maybe slightly differently, but I'm not an expert on all the various different variants of this machine. The one thing that does spring out at me is that these rotors aren't drooping at all. Every photo I've seen at rest of these machines, you would see a bit more rotor droop than that in this rigid system here. I'd expect that to be drooping down substantially here. So no, they're a little bit too flat there for my liking. That does sort of stand out a bit to me there. All right, so let's just do our little pre-flight stuff here. There's only a few little things to remove. Get these off here on our pre-flight. I did notice I haven't tried all the variants here, but I was a bit surprised to see that I can't open the doors from the outside here. Am I just missing something here? Yeah, I mean, I can open the main door there. Good. Yeah, I was just surprised that one didn't open. A few sort of hatches and things here. I do like in the baggage door here that we've got a little window we can look in here. I think that's great. Yeah, that's good. Did notice that I have to not be crouched, I think, to close that, or I have to, or you have to close it from that side. Okay, all right. Okay, well, you get there in the end. That's all fine. Nice bit of detail in here. Fenestron enclosed tail rotor system. Very good. I'll do a fly around in a moment as well, and we'll have a little bit of a look in some of the areas. So that's our walk around done. I noticed a couple of little weird things like this, maybe a few text things not fully filled in yet. I mean, that looks like it's just a bit of polish that someone could fix up in 5 minutes, so hopefully they can get around to doing that soon. No big deal there. We get the benefit of those 2024 details with the detail there in the acrylic, I think, material in the windshield there. It looks pretty good. Looks very good. And let's just get in there with the drone view as well for a bit of a fly around. And I like that look on the finish there. Nice weathering. Someone's going to complain about all those screws being torqued to the same point. Oh well, there you go. Sorry. Yes. Nice details in here. Decals done to a good resolution. There's stuff in here for developers to aspire to. Nice level of detail, I think. Looking into the Fenestron system there. Good, 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 good. And getting over here, different level of, different type of material used on the outlet there. Slightly unfortunate lower resolution used in the modelling there. What about at the rotor hub itself? Yeah, people are investing effort into here these days. I'm liking that. Liking that. Nice looking materials on these rigid blades, which are actuated only by the rods there from the swash plate below. And we don't see all of the other equipment that we do with other machines to control the flapping and the leading and the lagging. They are sufficiently flexible, these blades, to do all of that themselves. Not quite sure where that wiper goes. I suppose it only wipes on one side. Okay, all right, got it. So now I have gone inside to open the doors, and I can't. I cannot open these back doors in at least this passenger, so I have to fly in through the window. Oh, well, there you go. So what have we in here? Decent looking interior. Maybe getting a little bit lower resolution in the headlining texture there. Great details in the safety cards. Good. Good looking details around there on some of the fittings. Don't think you can complain about this really. I mean, they've done a pretty good job here. Flying through here. Nope. I'll look at the cockpit in proper detail once we're in, seated. See if I can just carefully thread the needle here. Material's looking pretty good. And we'll cover all the instruments once we actually get ready for starting the machine up. So I think the interior, generally, nothing to be too disappointed about. I think it's generally looking very nice inside. And here we are in the pilot's seat. And so what we have in the EC135 T1 is one of the earliest versions of this machine, and we don't get much in the way of autopilot or stability assist systems. I think in the real machine, at least there is a yaw stability assist. I don't see any evidence of that in here just yet. There might have been in some early instances a 2-axis autopilot that might just hold your attitude, pitch and yaw, let's say. I'm not seeing any evidence of that in here. So in some senses, if you're going to offer a free aircraft, you might as well make it one which doesn't have overly complex systems. So we're not seeing kind of too much evidence of that here. So well, look, why don't I get in? I've done a couple of different views here. I've got a close-up of the panel. I always define my own views. And I actually like seeing analog panels like this in a helicopter. It makes it, it's actually generally a little bit easier to read for the most part in flight simulation. So yeah, love it, love it. Love this era of flight simulation, 1990s. Still big analog dials and supplemented with some of these digital readouts as well, so you know a bit about what's going on. And this is the GNS 530 as well, so for some GPS assistance there also. So nothing too complex or too scary down here, so we'll run some of this later on. I've got an overhead view here just with things like heating, power and lighting up here, and then there's, I've got one more way up the top there, and we've just got a couple of switches up here. I don't know that, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, they might be animated, but I don't think any of these have any functionality in this edition as it stands. I can move that around. Nice. So, checklist. Now, I'm actually not going to run all of this checklist, and I'm going to tell you why. So, for instance, if we run down here, some of this works. I mean, what I see when I look at this is a lot of ambition that we might be able to run something pretty close to real-life procedures to start this machine up. I like that. Very promising. It's just that these messages actually, I don't think, are displayed. Maybe the DC voltage is, and the switches do work, but then the messages aren't displayed. When we come through to things like the fire extinguisher warnings, yes, they are enunciated on this panel up here, but we don't get a warning horn. So it feels like it's half done. And rather than me just run this test and this whole checklist and me criticizing this not working or criticizing that not working, I'm just going to tell you, I think about half of this, maybe even a little bit more, is working, as you might just read down there. And the other half might still be added if they were to invest a bit more time, and maybe they need to gather a few more resources, like, you know, audible warnings. Maybe a few more things need to be hooked up in the sort of the logic side of the systems modeling inside this aircraft. So that's kind of where we're at. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just fast forward here a bit, and we'll just pick it up just before actually starting up the engines. All right, so I'll bring it back in here now. Fuel quantity check. Now, there are 3 fuel tanks, 2 small ones and a main big one. It seems that even if you've got all the cross feeds on and everything, it only draws from these small outer tanks and not the main ones. So you're going to run out of fuel in next to no time. I advise, until that gets fixed, that we pop into here and it actually says it is full. Oh, I'll just put that in. There we go. All right, load immediately. Thank you. Yes, good. Right, so that just puts in as much fuel as possible, and you might find you have to do that whilst you're flying around as well, so you don't run out of fuel. So we're ready to start. So here's what it looks like. I think you would have to say that it seems like there are possibly some missing sounds. Here we go, on the outside. So no obvious engine start sound there. I think we heard maybe a Fenestron sound there. Been a bit of criticism about the place that this is just the wrong kind of exterior sound for a helicopter of this type. It's believable to me that it sounds like a 2-bladed helicopter. I'm not sure. I don't know what it is, but it is also believable to me that it's not an EC135, this sound. But anyway. So we come inside and it sounds like the rotor speed is much faster than what we're hearing on the outside. Okay, so we have gone into the idle position there. So we are seeing rising N1 turbine outlet temperature. Engine oil, okay, yes. Oil pressure, N2 and NR. See N2 on here. A little curiosity I found is that if I monitor N2 on this one, I see that I'm getting N2 in engine 2 as well. Interesting. Engine 2 has not been started yet. So it has stabilized around 74 for both engines. So we can close the guard on that now. And we can start up engine number 2. And then we can watch those meters come to life as well. So starting up these machines is a pretty simple affair. Not quite as simple as the H125 where you just flick one switch, but it's pretty easy. Here comes our N1 on engine number 2. Well, I'm down to check engine parameters, and sometimes I get this, sometimes I don't. I don't know what the difference is. These engines are not providing the same amount of torque to the rotor system. Engine 2 is only providing 5.7 torque right now, and engine 1 10.5. So why are they unbalanced? Don't know. Sometimes it works fine. Sometimes I get this. Shrug, don't know. And now that we are in flight, actually that's all stabilized, so that's all now sort of equalized, so I guess that's fine. Sounds like a rattly old machine, doesn't it, when you get out here, but that cap on the rotor hub doesn't look too great when it's animated like this either. Not too sure if my frame generation on my AMD system's contributing to that, but there it is. Separate sound on the Fenestron rotor, I like that. Thank you, good work there. Alright, I've just come over to the main runway now just because, well, I was having some graphical issues there. Hopefully that's all settled down now. And so, now we need to talk about the flight characteristics of this add-on. Here's what happens. I need to show you two important things. One, some strange cross-coupling effects. So, if I were to go left on the cyclic, now, you would not handle a helicopter in this way on the ground or really ever. But I do this, and you're looking at the input viewer here, I'm doing this to demonstrate the issue that we find here is that there is a cross couple in that when I go left on the cyclic, right yaw force is applied, and when I go right on the cyclic, there is no such opposite. When I go forward on the cyclic, nothing. When I go aft on the cyclic again, we get, there it is, a bit of right yaw applied. Very strange. So, to pick this machine up, I will need lots of left pedal. A Fenestron rotor is not terribly efficient in hover, but it's more efficient in cruise, and I will need some left cyclic. And I will now pull collective. So let us get into a hover if I can. It's going to be hard work because of all this interesting cross-coupling going on. So let's see what I can do here. A little bit of, whoa, oh boy, it's hard work, all right. A little bit of forward cyclic is required also with the EC135 apparently. Oh boy. Okay, so with me getting this pointing down the runway, hopefully, once I do achieve a stable hover, I'll be able to show you a couple of things, I hope. So what I want to show you is that if, whoa, effect again, oh, you have to use so much pedal. Look where my pedal is, for God's sake, that's a lot of pedal over there. So, okay, now, I'm going to just nudge it over to the left a bit in a moment. Okay, 3, 2, 1, no, and we're syncing, so I'll just get this right. Okay, now, 3, 2, 1, left cyclic. There was just a tiny bit, this was applied there. I could just see the nose just going very slightly to the right. Not too bad on that occasion, but there was I could just see it just happening there very slightly. And this time I'm just going to go aft on the cyclic and we'll just see if the same thing happens. Aft, yeah, there it is, very strong there. Watch that one more time. I'm all stable now, pointing directly down the runway. So here it is, 3, 2, 1, aft, and the nose goes to the right. Why? Why are you doing that, EC135? That makes it very hard to fly. So you're already putting a lot of pressure on the pedals to keep this thing going anyway because of that Fenestron not being particularly strong. That's okay, I can deal with that. But I find it hard to deal with this kind of thing here. Whoa! No, don't do that to me. You're punishing me. Now, I want to show you a second strange effect here. Hopefully you're pointing straight down the runway. Everything's stable. And so on a German helicopter, when we lift collective with everything else stable like this, the nose should go to the right. Here we go. Nose goes to the right, nose goes to the right, whoa, what's happened? Now it's going to the left. What's up with that? Now it goes to the right again. I'm not moving anything here. What are you doing, EC135? That is not correct. So now I've intervened. So it's kind of drawing an S there. That is not correct. No other helicopter in MSFS. I've tested several. I've tested all the defaults. Well, I've tested the H125 and the Cabri. They go the other way, of course. They, when you add collective and a stable hover, the nose goes to the left. They're French helicopters. So it's correct that it goes to the right, but then why does it go to the left? Very strange. Here it goes again. Off you go. And now it's going to go to the left again. What are you doing? There's just some wires crossed somewhere in this flight model. That's just very strange behavior. Apart from that cross-coupling. Here's that cross-coupling again. Back on the cyclic. And the nose goes madly to the left. Wow. Hard work to fly it. So I'm just going to take it over to a hospital landing pad and we'll see how much fun it is to land. Wish me luck, people. I mean, once you get it pointed straight, this is alright. Pointed straight, nose down, gathering speed. Lots of left pedal in. That's only 47% torque when I've got the collective. Are they reading the same value? Rotor RPM, okay. Torque 60. Alright, okay, no they are. That seems, I mean, I'm doing nearly 120 and it was less than 60% torque. Is that accurate in the EC135? I'm not heavily loaded. I haven't put any load on. Just seems kind of low. Still, when I'm cruising along here, this is kind of okay. Still need a fair amount of left pedal. Don't know what pilots might have to say about this. In the Cabri, with its Fenestron rotor, you actually need a little bit of, it's reversed, but you need a little bit of left pedal in cruise. So in Cabri, you'll be using right pedal in takeoff and hover, but once you get into cruise in the Cabri, you'll need a little bit of left pedal. So in the EC135, and sorry this is confusing because it's reversed, in the EC135 you're using lots of left pedal on takeoff and then lots of left pedal to counteract all this strange behavior it's not supposed to be doing. And then I'm still using lots of left pedal on cruise. Lots. I mean, my feet get tired. Alright, here we are at Royal Melbourne Hospital, and this is going to be punishingly difficult to land. So, I want no judgment. This is not my fault. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. So, whenever I go left cyclic, the nose turns to the right. It just does your head in. The EC135 is doing my head in. And my legs, I tell you, God, this is hard work. I think this is going remarkably well. For the level of difficulty here. Oh, come on, down you go. Don't dare go any aft cyclic because we'll just throw our nose to the right. Oh. Alright, and then as soon as one skid touched. Oh, okay, alright. Well, maybe I can... I lowered the collective and then it moved, the nose moved to the left. I mean, we can forgive that. Look, that is way better than what I thought it was going to be. I must be getting used to it. But it's unnecessarily, punishingly difficult. Please. These crossed inputs are just making it way too hard. Well, let's just get going again. I want to show you one more thing. So head back over to Essendon. Not quite sure why half of Melbourne seems to be in autumn and the other half in spring. Might drop Bijan Habashi a line and just ask about whether something's gone a little bit wrong in Seasons Enhanced at the moment. We'll get that sorted out. Oh, okay, wow, that was hard work. So what I'm going to show you here is some one-engine inoperative functionality. So I'll just point over towards Mount Macedon, a bit more to the right, Matthew. There we go. Okay. By the way, force trim functionality, so-called force trim functionality, works just fine. So I've got, as you can see, I've got my cyclic forwards. I'll just turn the head tracking off. Cyclic forwards, hold down the force trim, centralize the stick, release the force trim, and now we are trimmed forwards. Great. That's just fine. Works perfectly. That's good. So, one engine inoperative. So let's just go right idle. Sorry, engine 2 idle. And I'll now just trim that nose up so we don't crash into the towers there at Mooney Ponds. Alright, so what's happened? So we've got 5.4% torque. We've got 80% torque now being delivered from engine 1. I've had some very strange readings coming out of that. This actually seems not entirely unreasonable. So if I were just to put that back on, that's now at 80. What's it going to do when I put it back on? So torque is recovering from engine number 2. Good. Yeah, but I don't think it will fully recover now. So once you break it, it'll never come back right. Yeah. So yes, now that I've asked for it to come back, it doesn't look like it wants to come back up to full power N1, so there's something just not quite right in the one engine inoperative functionality, or coming out of it. So that's a pity. It seems a traditionally vexed area in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Helicopters, getting the twin engine helicopters working properly. Although Cowan Simulation seems to have achieved it with the S76, so good on them for the good work they have done there. So if you want to try some one-engine inoperative functionality that actually seems to work, try the S76, although unlike this one, you will be paying for that. It's not free. So I choose to remain positive about this. I think this is a great platform on which to build a good addition to our helicopter fleet in MSFS 2024. Decent visuals, promising cockpit. But the flying experience, you might just be able to get by if you are someone who flies with tail rotor assist on. No shame in that. But this is just not up to the same standard we see in other default machines like the H125 or the Cabri G2. Please, Nemeth Designs and Microsoft, continue to invest in this. Finish this helicopter, please. Make us proud to have this in the fleet. It's a light twin with lots of mission potential around search and rescue and ambulance work. This investment will be worth it. We need to see improvements in sounds, we need to see systems fidelity enhanced around checklist items, and we need some urgent attention to some very strange flight characteristics. I really hope it'll be my pleasure to bring you a positive update about this machine before too long, and in the meantime, there is lots more helicopter content for MSFS 2024 right here on my channel. I hope you'll check out more of that soon. Till then, see ya!